Okay, guys, we are on 4.3, which is our last question of question 4, and then we're going to move on to question 5. Okay, so let's just read this. It says, study a snippet of an infographic on Shakespeare and answer the questions that follow. So we've got longest plays here, shortest plays here, and the most talkative characters over here. Okay, I always say to my students, don't get bogged down by the scenario. Often just go to the questions, then they will help you understand the scenario a bit better. Okay. So it says, what is the number of words in the longest Shakespearean play? So it's Anthony and Cleopatra up over here, which is 1361 words. Sorry, it's my second time recording. That's why this is a pre-populated question. Okay, let's now go into 4.3.2. If the minimum number of words spoken in a Shakespearean play is 605, which is up here, Midsummer Dream, okay, calculate the difference between the number of words spoken in the longest and the shortest play. Okay, so the longest play we've just said is 1361 words. Okay, and the shortest play is 605. Okay, longest minus shortest. Plug that into our calculator. I think it's 756, but let's see if I'm right. Hey, girl. Okay, cool. So the difference is 756 words. Okay, cool. So that's that question done. Let's now move on to the next question, which is 4.3.3. It says, of the 1380 characters created by Shakespeare, how many did not have speaking parts? Okay, so let's see. It said Shakespeare created 1380 characters, and 1221 of whom had speaking parts. Okay, so we know that the difference between the amount that he created and the amount that was speaking was the number of people that weren't speaking. So the number of characters is 1380. The number of speaking characters is 1221. So the difference, right, is how many characters didn't speak. Okay, so we put that into our calculator. And so there were 159 characters that were created but never spoke. Okay, because remember, the 1380 is basically the sample of both of them, right? Now we've stripped out a certain proportion, right, of those who speak, and what's left is those who don't speak. Okay, it's important to think about subsets like that. Okay, so it says, the next question says, refer to the table listing Shakespeare's 10 most talkative characters and determine the mean number of lines spoken. Okay, so this talks about the number of lines, okay, and it talks about the 10 most talkative. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to find the mean. Now, what does the mean mean? What does the mean mean? Excuse the repetition there. It means the average, okay? And we know the average means the expected value. So they're saying, if I was to choose one of these, what would we expect them to speak if we considered how much each of them speak? Okay, so what we do is we have to add all of these guys together and then divide them by the number of people that there are here, which is 10, I think. Yeah, it says 10. So let's add them all together and divide it by 10. Okay, what's important here, right, is we have to make sure that we type it in correctly. I cannot tell you how many times I type things in wrong, and you will lose a mark, right? And that's why it's also important to write what you are, how you are. You see, I already typed in something wrong there. How you are working out things and what numbers are being input, because you could get marks for having written down the numbers, okay, even if you calculated them wrong. It's a little trick I learned. Okay, let's just keep going. Let's just write all of these out. Sure, I'm getting good exercise here for my hand. Okay, let's go, girl, let's go, girl, we're almost there. Okay, and we said that equals 2950. Okay, we have that over there. But what did I say to you? We have to divide it by the number of people that actually went into calculating this amount, which is 10. So we divide it by 10, and the average number of lines we would expect, right, for someone to speak, had we chosen someone randomly from here, right, from this list, would be 295. Okay, But that's how we do an average. It's the expected value. Okay, so let us now move to 4.3.4b, which is the last question for question 4. Sure, we've flown through this, guys. Which characters are within the 75th percentile of Shakespeare's most talkative characters? Okay, so what we have to do when we're talking about the 75th percentile of the most, let's just see here, which are within the 75th percentile of Shakespeare's most talkative characters. Okay, so what we have to do is we're talking about, so we want to know, let me just quickly draw this here, right? We're wanting to know how many people fit within the 75th percentile, okay? So we know here that this is the 100th percentile. Up here is the 100th percentile, okay? And down here, we're saying it's zero. It's zero with the nothingth. I don't know what you call this. The zero. The 0 percentile. Goodness, I'm making this harder than it has to be. Okay? So we know that's 100th, and we know that that's 0. Okay? So we want to know how much is within 75. So from 0 to 75. So we know that each of these, right, actually represents 10%. Okay? Because there's 10 of them. If we're talking about 100, you say 100 divided by 10 gives us 10. So each of these guys account for 10. Okay, right, 50, 60. So the 75th percentile falls halfway through Hamlet. Okay, so it's everything from Hamlet down to Cleopatra. Okay, it's not Henry V or Falstaff because they are above the 75th percentile. Okay, they're between the 75th percentile and the 100th percentile. But the question asked us, which characters are within the 75th percentile? So we're going to write down all these guys, including Hamlet, right? Because we can't exclude Hamlet because then we're only talking about the 70th percentile and down. So we'll talk from Hamlet the whole way to Cleopatra. Okay, so let's write all these dudes' names, or dudes and ladies. So Hamlet, the Duke of Gloucestershire. I don't even know where all of these guys are from. I feel like I need to go brush up on my Shakespearean knowledge. Othello, Iago, those were both in the same play. Then we have Anthony. Then we have Richard III. Okay, we're doing well, guys. Then we have Timon or Timon. Oh, goodness, I spelled that uglily. And then we have Cleopatra, our girl Cleopatra. Okay. And that's all of them. Okay, so they're testing you here, whether you understand how percentiles work. We start at 0 from the lowest one, and we work up to 100 for the highest one. Okay. Cool, guys, we are finished with question 4. Can you believe it? Moving on to question 5.